So let's begin the video today on discussing the sociopath and the diagnostic criteria of a sociopath so you can better know and understand if you have one of these particular types of people in your life right now. So let's begin. Number one is a failure to conform to social norms with respect to lawful behavior. Okay, repeated performance of breaking the law oftentimes. Second is deceitfulness. It's indicated by repeated lying and conning others for personal profit or personal pleasure. Irritability and aggressiveness is indicated by repeated physical fights or physical or emotional assaults. Next is reckless disregard for the safety of themselves as well as the safety of others. Next is the lack of remorse, as indicated by being indifferent or rationalizing having hurt, mistreated, or stolen from another person. And a really easy way to really spot a sociopath outside of understanding the criterion is to stay focused on their behavior and not the words that they say. And why I say this is that oftentimes with a sociopath, they can have a tendency of making us feel really good because they say all the right things, right? Until we've known them for quite some time. And then they can go back and forth. They can also be very mean. Another interesting point about dealing with a sociopath is to pay really close attention to extreme behavior, okay? Often a sociopath, 90% of the time, is going to do things in an extreme way. And when you're around them for a long period of time, you begin to forget that this is extreme behavior. And so a good thing and a good rule of thumb is to honestly ask yourself, would I ever do that? But the thing is that they quickly cover it up, right, with comments or excuses. You know, maybe they might do something really extreme, and in order to cover it up, they talk about all the stress they're under, right? Or this person pushed them into this, or pushed them over the edge, or pushed them over the edge of reason, or whatever they use to cover up doing something extreme that you and I would never ever do.
They are very good at acting, but if you know what to look for, you will see it happening. They're dangerous, but this is what you do. You suspect this woman is a sociopath, but you're not sure. You ask her very direct questions, and you ask for her opinion, and watch. She will weasel her way out of answering. They will ask so many questions about you. They want to know, what book are you reading? What TV show are you watching? What's the last movie you saw? What are your hobbies? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite restaurant? But they will never share that information with you. Pay attention. When you ask them, do you like Mexican food? They will not answer until they find out if you like it. They will immediately turn the question back onto you and say, I want your opinion. And if you don't know what to look for, you just think that you're hanging out with just the most considerate, sweet, kind girl or polite guy. No, they're not being polite. They are sociopaths. They are psychopaths. They are sucking all of your likes and dislikes out of you and absorbing them, and they will present them as their own at a later time. And they do this so that you feel comfortable with them, so that you are thinking, we have so much in common. The sociopath holds back. And this is how you can catch them, because they don't share information until they have figured out how you feel about the issue. So what you do is, when you're out on a second date and you suspect this person is a sociopath, you ask them very direct questions and you look them in the eye, and you don't let them weasel out of answering.
Say the sociopath is causing chaos, which they often do in situations, but then they deny it and blame other people for it. So say you're in a church situation and you call up the sociopathic personality on the phone and you say, well, how's everything going over there at that church or at your business or whatever? And, you know, I heard, you know, whatever, so such and such was maybe getting rough. And then the sociopath goes, oh, it's not going well. You need to be praying. It's not going well. You know, so right there, they're going to kind of put ideas into that person's mind that something's not going well, but it's not their fault, of course, even though they are the one causing all the chaos and confusion in the hard situation for everybody. And if you no longer are under their power, they will then turn on you and they will betray you. They do not care actually about you at all.
The sociopathic stare. And it's something that I realized was happening in my old relationship, and I didn't know what it was. I just remember thinking when they would do it, how unnerving it was. It was so unnerving because they wouldn't lose their cool, really. They would never like get angry, but their eyes, they would like stare straight into my soul, and it was creepy. It was like, you know, if you were to think about a tiger staring at their prey that they're about to pounce on, it was just like this cold, icy, angry look. Their whole body is completely relaxed, but their eyes look like they're going to just hurt you.
Just standing in front of me, approximately like 4 feet in front of me with some sort of assault rifle. And he had it pointed down at the ground, but he just, as soon as I opened the door, he just made eye contact with me and just started raising it towards my head.
When he made eye contact with you, I mean, what did he look like? What was his expression?
He just had a really cold, hard stare.
A sociopath will say anything to get their way, even if that means bending the truth. A sociopath may tear others down for their own personal gain. A sociopath may shower you with compliments just to keep you under their thumb. Sociopaths avoid taking responsibility. Why? Because they want to preserve their own image. When a sociopath makes a mistake, they try to save face by passing the blame. Since sociopaths struggle with compassion, feelings are often their biggest target. Sociopaths purposely attack your insecurities to keep you under their spell. But sociopaths aren't interested in growth or change. Instead, they use phrases like this to build false hope. They say they're trying their best. They pretend they're making an effort to improve, but their actions usually tell a different story. They make you feel like you have a much stronger bond than you actually do. That illusion convinces you to invest more of your time and effort into the relationship.
By separating you and replacing the family unit. By separating you and replacing the family unit. By separating you and replacing the family unit. This means that groups are most likely to target people with weak family ties, as those make for the easiest converts.
What do we call people with no conscience who seem to have absolute disregard to other people, society, and societal rules? The usual: psychopaths and sociopaths. Psychopathy is a result of genetics, while sociopathy is a learned behavior, because sociopaths do have the ability to feel empathy as well as form emotional attachments to certain people. He suggests childhood trauma and physical or emotional abuse are possible causes of sociopathy. They can even turn tables to manipulatively make it seem like others are the selfish ones. They are mischievous, cunning, or have behavioral problems. A sociopath lies so often it becomes part of their personality. The compassion a sociopath demonstrates is usually stimulated rather than felt and serves a certain motive. A sociopath is not interested in others' needs, lives, or even safety, and is oblivious to the damage they cause. Sometimes they aren't even concerned about their own safety. On the personal level, when in trouble, they tend to quickly accuse someone else of being guilty, even when the action is of their own doing. They have poor behavioral controls or an impulsive nature. When dealing with a sociopath, You find yourself in a cycle of short periods of peaceful expressions, followed by periods of rage that can sometimes develop into abuse, and once again followed by short periods of emotional and mental peace. This cycle makes the abused feel helpless. Sociopaths' poor rage control issues lead to repeated violent assaults on other people. Sometimes a matter that would make a normal person angry would mean nothing to a sociopath. And yet matters which might be of no worth to a normal person can outrage a sociopath. They are unable to feel guilt, shame, or remorse. The ends justify the means is perhaps the most descriptive idiom of how sociopaths feel about their actions. When a sociopath has a certain goal in mind, they have no problem causing devastation to others as long as they can reach that outcome. They won't let anything stand in their way and have no remorse. Their lack of remorse and guilt stems from their ability to rationalize the pain they inflict on others and inability to empathize with the pain of their victims.
While sociopaths and psychopaths are similar, as they both tend to display violent behavior, disregard laws, social mores, and the rights of others, they do differ in some fundamental ways. For example, sociopaths lack empathy, but are capable of it, while psychopaths are incapable of it altogether. Sociopaths often come across as charming and friendly. They know just what to say and do to get people to like them, and this includes using a lot of compliments and flattery. It comes off as charismatic, which is likely what drew you to them in the first place. However, regardless of how good they are at producing endless amounts of charm, something will feel off about it. That's because they can turn this persona on and off as they please, which means it has no depth or substance. Number 2, they seem too good to be true. When a sociopath sets their eyes on you as a target, you suddenly become the center of their attention. They bombard you with phone calls and texts, and they want to see you all the time. They seem to have similar interests, goals, principles, and standards as you do, and the connection you form appears to be deeper than anything you've ever felt. You think they genuinely enjoy your company, but more often than not, their real intention is to get as much information from you as possible for later use. Whatever connection you establish is simply a tool used to benefit them and will disappear the moment they no longer need it. Number 3, they lie constantly. One of the behaviors associated with sociopathy is compulsive lying. Sociopaths lie for the same reason they do most things, to benefit and uplift themselves. Sometimes the lie is so separate from the reality that you'll be able to tell almost instantly. The facts don't line up with their words, and you may even get the sense that they don't believe what they're saying either. They can say one thing, but their actions often tell a completely different story. Little by little, they'll start taking over your life, manipulating every aspect of it to fit what they want. And this comes with extreme jealousy. Whenever you're around someone or something that threatens a sociopath's position of power, they'll do anything to try and eliminate that threat. Number 5, they prey on your good qualities. Sociopaths know that the quickest way to open people up to their manipulation is to exploit their sense of sympathy and empathy. After all, when you're too busy feeling sorry for someone and expressing your sympathy, you are less likely to suspect that their motives or intentions are corrupt. Most sociopaths are very good at pretending to be wounded and hurt. And once they've established their facade, they find someone likely to want to comfort them, and then they target that weakness. They don't seem to know what makes you upset or why. In a healthy relationship, your partner will strive to understand your triggers and actively avoid them. Sociopaths usually don't care to remember these details. They literally cannot grasp that other people have complex, fluctuating emotions. There will always be a strong disconnect when they deal with you and your feelings. Not only do they act this way toward you, but you'll find that they can be even more callous toward others, especially when they think you aren't watching. They have volatile mood swings. Sociopaths often have sudden, unstable mood swings. Even the smallest action or statement can send them into a fit of rage. They rely on their anonymity to function. They don't like to be called out on their superficial behavior, as it hinders them from manipulating other people to get what they want. Regardless of how much evidence you may have, confronting a sociopath about their intentions and behavior will only lead to them blowing up and outright denying it. They'll blame everyone else for their shortcomings and never attempt to even communicate with their coworkers unless it's useful to them. Sociopaths are also notorious for being financially irresponsible. And if you are dating one, they will feel entitled to whatever you have, helping themselves to your wallet and credit cards without batting an eye. You find yourself constantly cleaning up their mess. Sociopaths prioritize their own wants and needs above anyone else's, regardless of the consequences. Therefore, dating one can lead to repeated crises in your life as a result of their risk-taking and sensation-seeking behavior. It will seem as if there's just one mess after another to clean up, whether it's having to bail them out of jail, money going missing, or other relationships with family and friends breaking down. They are immature. Sociopaths don't have much of a learning curve and aren't very good at learning from their past mistakes, especially when it comes to respecting other people. As charming as they may be, they can never really care about others. They can pretend to care, but only if it benefits them in some way. A sociopath's true nature is very demanding and selfish. In conclusion, while sociopaths are able to establish bonds with certain people, they can never really have a real, healthy relationship with anyone. They can never really have a real, healthy relationship with anyone. They can never really have a real, healthy relationship with anyone.